News.
Did you just get approved for a cheap mortgage and start looking for your first house flip? Are you diligently reading books, watching YouTube videos, and lurking around Facebook and Reddit forums to make sure you're pulling off your first flip correctly? Are you tempted by the financial freedom preached by all these flipping gurus?
So is everyone else.
But the competition shouldn't scare you. Don't get me wrong. The cheap debt and rising home prices in certain cities haven't created real estate markets this competitive in 14 years. But there's something else lurking in the horizon. If you're a first-time house flipper, you are so The inevitable death of noob house flippers begins in Phoenix, Arizona in 2014, a city best known for a sketchy for-profit online university and being really hot. The Phoenix metro area had a population of just under 4 million at the time and averaged around 25,000 active residential listings throughout the year. Since then, there's been some ridiculous growth. Today, the population stands at 4.8 million across 1.4 million single-family homes, and housing starts have tripled in that time to try to meet the demand. But inventory is at a historical low of under 8,000. This city has been a house flipper's dream, and thanks to the pandemic and incoming migration,
it's literally and figuratively one of the hottest sellers markets.
Now stay with me here, because this is where the story gets juicy. Part of the reason why Phoenix has become hyper-competitive is that it was the first city where Eric Wu launched the iBuyer OpenDoor. Eric had the perfect mix of experience and drive to create the concept of iBuying. As a sophomore at Arizona State, he bought a house with his $20,000 scholarship and rented out 2 rooms to classmates. And in a couple years, he owned 25 houses. After 2 real estate data startups, he introduced iBuying to the world by starting OpenDoor, raising money from SoftBank, Andreessen Horowitz, and the founders of Uber, Reddit, and Y Combinator, among others. That is the ultimate holy shit, I've got to hop on this train investor list. And it's not just investors that hopped on the iBuying train. Since then, OfferUp, Redfin, and Zillow have joined the iBuying market. So how does iBuying work? iBuyers are extremely well-capitalized companies that buy homes direct from sellers, sight unseen, and all cash within 2 weeks. Then they'll quickly do necessary repairs and list the homes on their own brokerage platform. They collect fees on both the purchase and the sale transactions and aim to make profits on the flip as well. Aha! Now you're starting to understand why trouble is brewing for noob house flippers.
But don't you dare click away, because like iBuyers, I'm just getting started.
Instead, you should stick around and hit that like button and subscribe, because I'm about to explain where iBuyers are headed, how the entire single-family home market will change because of it, and what you should do if you're really intent on doing your first house flip. Once you accept that iBuyers are part of your competition, you should start thinking like them. There is a distinct difference in mentality between the Eric Wus of the world and house flippers. Eric is constantly thinking, how can I flip 10% of the houses in the entire country? And how do I expand from there? Or how can I make every house flipper's job easier and take a piece of their transaction? Whereas first-time flippers are following an instruction manual written by thousands of gurus doing the exact same thing. Millions of followers competing against each other in a sea filled with innovative sharks is going to lead to extinction. So my first tip to noob house flippers, don't restrict yourself to a pattern. Learn how to adapt because the industry is changing. By the end of 2018, iBuyers had amassed a ridiculous 7% of the single-family home listings in Phoenix, and they've accounted for over 3% of listings in about 20 other markets across the country. Even though it's insane that 3 or 4 companies own a few percent of the listings in some markets, they're not anywhere near the majority of transactions yet. As of now, iBuyers do have minimum criteria for homes they'll purchase. OpenDoor, for example, will only purchase homes built after 1960 between 125,000 to 500,000, which is already a gigantic segment of the entire US market. But imagine iBuyers expand to the top 100 metros and decide to widen their criteria to say homes built after 1900 between $50,000 and $2 million. You, my noob house flipper friend, are going to be operating in the same market as them. Except they're going to have a few $1 billion more cash in their war chest. Because as of last week, OpenDoor is getting a $1 billion injection of capital by going semi-public through a special purpose acquisition company, or SPAC. Zillow has a stated goal of purchasing 5,000 homes a month within 3 to 5 years. And don't forget that companies like Zillow have petabytes of proprietary market data with predictive power to drive their decisions. Did I mention iBuyers are their own brokerage firms too? So they don't have to pay half of the broker fees that you do. They get paid for it instead. And they're starting to offer financing too. How the f are you gonna compete with that?
Noob.
But hold up. it gets even worse for you. OpenDoor recently announced that they're partnering with Andreessen Horowitz-funded home building startup Mosaic to build 400 homes in Phoenix. So even experienced flippers buying vacant land or doing knockdowns aren't safe. What iBuyers are ultimately trying to do is make the housing market closer to economics textbook level market efficiency. They want to reduce purchase and sale transaction times and vacancies to 0. And in a world like that, house flippers simply don't exist, let alone
New house flippers.
So tip number 2, hedge your investment by buying a little of their stock. If you can't beat them, join them. Don't worry, nooblets, there are some silver linings. The inevitable march of technology may create barriers to entry, but it can also knock them down by empowering individuals. One of the reasons I love real estate development is that no two plots of land are identical. Use your individuality and creativity in your home designs to offer something truly unique to your market, and stay on top of Proptech trends
By watching my videos.
to see how you can improve on the experience of living in the home. Figure out how to be more efficient and offer something better every time you start a flip. And don't forget, you don't even have to flip to make money in real estate. So tip number 3, nobody's going to disrupt you out of buying and holding. Let me end with another
WDIGFTLSIWTCTBT.
The venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz is behind a bunch of the companies mentioned in this video. So I recommend a pair of books. The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Andreessen Horowitz co-founder Ben Horowitz, and Secrets of Sand Hill Road by Andreessen Horowitz partner Scott Kupor. Both of these books will give you insight into not only the inner workings of venture capital in Silicon Valley, but also some deep insights into that Eric Wu type mentality of iterating and expanding. Ben had a really rough origin story before he got into VC, and I was stressed out just reading about it. But these are the hard lessons not every house flipping guru will teach you on YouTube.
Myself included.
Because I'm not even a house flipper. Stay curious, nooblets, and see you next time.